100% focused on Torah, so that the Makim Shemachshav Shalom Shom Nimsa. So the Torah truly takes over the nefesh, the adam, that it brings him to the place of paradise, v'chul, like the Rebbe speaks. Okay, we're going to move on with the first shir, Rabbi Winner, Chovevei Gadol, to discuss Heter iska.
We have a nice oil over here in Balabatam, I see. And I'm sure you came here for a workshop on investments. One of the most popular things in the world to discuss is when you have a crowd, you give investment advice. What's the best investment to protect against inflation, with this crazy economy that we're in? So everyone is looking for investment advice. So there's a Gemara in Ksubis that tells us about investment advice. Melech Momen, if you want to salt your money, in ancient times, if you wanted to preserve meat or other food items, they had a way of treating it with salt. And if you salted it, it would stay fresh even before refrigeration or freezers. So now the question is, how do you preserve money? Preserving money can mean you're not going to lose it. Preserving money can also mean protecting it against inflation. Is Melech Momen, how do you preserve money? So there's two ways. One is Melech Momen Chaser. If you want to preserve money, make it less. How do you preserve money by making it less? Because you give tzedakah. And you give tzedakah, so then you're preserving your money. Because the Eibishter says that the Halacha Shulchan it's not just a galata. But if you give tzedakah, the Eibishter begs us, test me. Go ahead and test me. If by giving tzedakah you can have less money, you can have more money. So what is chassid? Give away tzedakah. So you make calculations of your accounting of how you're doing with money, and if you're not giving away 10 to 20%, then you have a problem. You have to preserve your money. You got to have chesed. Another one is melech momen chesed. To preserve your money, you have to do chesed with your money. You have to do milas chasodim. What is the milas chasodim with money? It's lending money to people who need a loan. And the Gemara says that the milas chasodim is tzedakah is only for aniyim. Tzedakah you only give to aniyim, to the poor. Milas chasodim is for the rich and the poor. L'niyim u'lashir. Because the could be a wealthy person, and he's tight for money. He needs money to invest. He needs money to do business. So if you lend him money, then you are doing milas chasodim, and that's how you preserve your money. Melech momen chesed. The question over here is, how by giving milas chasodim are you going to preserve your money? You're going to lend out your money, so you're going to be using, someone else is going to be making money on your money. You're not going to be making money on your money. Just by lending money, Torah says that we're not going to take interest for money. So if I'm not going to, if I invest money on interest, the bank says interest is very low, but there's business loans, you can make business loans to people. So if I take ribis, if I take interest, I can make money. If I invest and I do my own business, so I can make a lot of money. So I should give away my money, but I can do business with my money. I can buy more material and sell more. And he was saying, give melach mama and chesed if you do milas chasodim to other people, and you have to do it. That's why it's milas chasodim, because you're not getting anything in return. But that's the way to preserve money. Because the Eibishter is a special bracha. Melach mama, if you do what the Eibishter wants, either by chesed or melach mama chaser, melach mama chesed. The whole idea of not taking interest is really the right way to do it. We talk about a Heter iska, about how you can lend somebody money and take interest, kaviyachol, for that, and gain a profit. If you're giving someone money, let's not use the word lending, you're giving someone money, you're giving someone $10,000, $100,000, and you're going to have a gain. The Torah really, the intention of the Torah is that you should lend someone $10,000, $100,000, and you get back that money without having any gain. That's what it is. The Torah says you shouldn't do it. There's nothing ethically wrong with doing this in the worldly sense of ethics, and that's why the Torah says "Anochi sashich." You're allowed to take interest from a goy, not allowed to steal from a goy, not a cheat goy, but you're allowed to take interest from a goy. And there's a wonderful sikha we learned it here in the Gemara. We learned this case of Neshech. So we learned the sikha be'iyun. The Kitzur, the Rabbi says in that sikha that really the whole idea of ribis is a mitzvah. It's not something that is beginning moment is wrong. And the Gemara really, the Rabbi explains that it's not the same as gezel. When you steal from somebody, you're taking something against his will. But when you take interest from somebody, you're doing it with his will. He wants to pay you interest because he needs your money. So therefore, it's not something that's morally wrong. And that's what the Rebbe said. That's what there's no issue about. It's tashich, because you're not taking away something from him that are cheating him in any way. So why so therefore, this brings out why it's taka chesed. It's not like in the cases of gezel. That's what gezel is in Choshen Mishpat. The din of ribis is in Yarchei, is in Yeridei. Yeridei is kashrus, nida. Dvarim shal Yisur beheter. Mash'enkin gezel is in Choshen Mishpat. So one of the reasons they say this name of Yarchei, and it's very consistent with the Rebbe's word, that the whole din of ribis is a mitzvah and an iser, not something that's wrong. So again, its idea is to do milas chasedim, Rabbi Nezer, his Shuvas, he has a whole section on Hilchos Ribis. He calls that section Bris Achim. Bris Achim, the covenant, the Bris with brothers. And when he gives his name, he doesn't write why he gave this name on top of the page. And Rabbi Nezer, in this section, you see Bris Achim. It's a Bris with brothers. Understand why? Because really the whole Easter of Ribis is because of brotherhood. You're not supposed to take Ribis, you're supposed to learn the Chatchila without Ribis. We're going to learn about Heter iska. These things are there's a machlokes in almost every prat in this. That Shalah is pretty critical of this whole idea. Malach, we do have it. Al Tereva wrote a whole section of Hilchos Ribis, very long piece of halachas, and actually pretty complicated. If you want to sharpen your business brain, in addition to learning to the Seinah Kadesha, learn how to have Shulchan Aruch and Hilchos Ribis. So, but the Chatchila, as I said before, Melach Mama Chesed, you should lend someone as a milas chasodim without taking ribis, not even with a Heter iska, and that is certainly going to be Yivrachas Hashem. Now, what is this Heter iska? The Heter iska, the word iska is in the Gemara, and what we're doing with the Heter iska is following this basis that's in the Gemara, not as a Heter, as a business deal. Asik is a business. Isk is aramish for business. That's a special business partnership where somebody gives the money and the other one manages the money, or is a trustee for the money, and so on. And someone is investing the money, so and they're going to share the profits equally, and they're going to share the losses equally. So basically, what the idea, the deal of a silent partnership, or what's called the iska that's in the Gemara, is that, for example, if I give somebody $10,000, Reuven gives Shimon $10,000. So, and he tells Shimon, here's $10,000. You need $10,000? Okay. You're a good businessman. I like the way you do business. Here's $10,000. Whatever profit you make, we split 50-50. Whatever losses you have, we're going to split 50-50. So this is the idea of the iska. And this business relationship is the yesod of the Heter iska. Because the Heter iska, what it's going to do is redefine the relationship. Instead of a lender, a debtor and a creditor, the lender and the borrower, instead of being a lender and a borrower, you who's receiving the money are receiving the money as an investment. And the whole profit, that the one who's giving the money, we're not calling him any longer a lender. We're not calling him certainly not a pure lender relationship, lender-borrower, but the profit that he's going to be making, that the lender, so to say, is going to be making, is really going to be his share in the investments. So it's an investment. You're allowed to invest. If I can give it a person, become a part of a person's investment. Now I'm going to make 10%, 20%, half of the profit. This is legitimate. It's no longer a loan, it's an investment. So what the Heter iska does, it redefines their relationship according to Halachah, that the relationship is no longer that of an investment, but as a loan, it's an investment. A loan you can't take interest because it's an interest. An investment you could share profits because it's an investment. Of course, the big problem over here is a loan, you're not taking risk. It's like buying bonds and stocks if you're familiar with the investment world. It's an investment workshop. So when you lend somebody money, so you don't want to hear any excuses. You lend someone $10,000, you want back the $10,000. Of course, it's a risk you can run away. But the obligation that he has is a clear obligation. The person loses money, doesn't lose money, you lend a person $10,000, $100,000 to do business, and then the business goes bankrupt, you don't want to hear anything about it. It's not your business. You lend him money, he owes you $10,000 if the loan was $10,000, $100,000 if the loan was $100,000. It's a lender-borrower relationship. What does that mean, in other words? That the borrower takes all the risk of this investment. And risk is a very important issue in Hilchos, in these halachas, because risk defines if this is a lender or this is an investor. So the lender doesn't want to take risks. He doesn't want to hear any excuses why the investment went sour or why there was a loss. I lent you $10,000, give me back the $10,000. An investor is a different story. If I invest $10,000 and I become a partner in a company that goes bankrupt, so that's what stocks is. You lose the stock, it goes bankrupt, you lose what you earn. So an investor, it's his money. The type of an investor is his money. So if the money is lost, so I lost the money because it's my money. So that's what's going to happen over here. We're going to redefine this relationship as at least the profits part of the relationship, as it's no longer a relationship between the borrower and lender, but it's a partnership and a relationship with an investor and one who's holding the investment, or legally a trustee, we call it a manager of someone else's money, the money manager. Now, how do they actually define this? In a more complex way. It's not black and white. It's not lender, investor. It's both. So therefore, someone that started before someone was $10,000, the Chachamim declared, so you have, if there are no other deals made, any deal can be made, but if there are no other deals made, when someone becomes a silent partner, and he says, I'm giving you $10,000, I'm giving you $100,000 to invest, and you are going to do business with it, and we're going to split the profits and split the losses, the understanding of this deal is that half of it is considered an investment and half of it is a loan. So therefore, let's say $10,000. So Reuven gives Shimon $10,000, and they make this deal that we're going to split the profits and split the loan. So the taisha, this relationship, according to halacha, the iska relationship, which is the basis for Heter iska, the iska relationship is that $5,000 is going to be a loan, and $5,000, 50% is going to be an investment. Where Reuven is giving, saying, listen, you're going to make the money, you're going to work with this money, so now, the 50%, that's a loan you're managing for yourself on your behalf. And that 50% of the profit is going to be his. And 50%, which is what's called palge milva, palge halva, half is pekadon. I'm entrusting you my money. That 50% is investment. So therefore, there's two halves to this relationship: palge pekadon, palge milva. So that the $5,000 that your profit is going to be coming from, that $5,000 is the halva. The profit, which you're promising me, 50% of the profit, that's not going to be generated from the part that is a halva that I'm lending to you. That's going to be generated from the part that is my money, that I'm retaining the ownership of that, and consequently the risks of that, and the profit is from the palge pekadon, and therefore it's no longer ribis. On the other hand, if there's losses, so I give you a roofing, gives Shimon $10,000. Shimon invested, and there's a robbery or a lousy investment, and at the end of the game, what's left is $5,000. The $5,000 is not over $5,000. So there was a loss of $5,000. There's a loss of $5,000. Now they have to split this loss. This investment was 50% halva, 50% pekadon. So the one who gave the money, the silent partner, so to say, his half is only half of it is on his own head. So there's a $5,000 loss. So then he's going to there's $5,000 back. So he gives him the $5,000 back. But the other $5,000, the Reuven says to Shimon, half of that was a loan. There was a loss of $5,000. Half of that was a loan. Half of that was an investment. So the half of the loan is $2,500. You have to pay me back, because since that half was a loan, you're going to have to take that loss. The other half was investment. I will take that loss. So he's going to have to give back what's left of the carrying investment, $5,000, and $2,500 for that, for the loan part of the loss, and the other half he's going to have. So this is iska. And if you have such a relationship, there's no problem with ribis, because the profit that they're bringing is generated from the part that's pekadon, from the half of the money, which is really he retained ownership, and he owns that as investment. Now, there only may be another problem here, which is built into iska, which is already mentioned in the Torah. Problem is, so now, someone gave me $10,000. I'm the managing partner of this business. So half of it is pekadon, half of it is milva, half of it is investment, half of it is loan. So I'm working in this to make from this $10,000 each shall make $20,000. Double the money, triple the money, $30,000. They should be healthy. So now I'm going to split the profits. Let's say the profits is going to be $10,000 profit. So I'm going to give $5,000 to the silent partner who gave me the money. So he's making fine. He gave me $10,000. He's making profit $5,000. So why is he making $5,000? Because I was managing this money. Now, did he pay me a commission to manage the money? Did he pay me anything to manage the money? Why am I managing the money? To make him $5,000 profit? Because $5,000 is loan. I'm gaining by getting a loan from him for half of the money to generate profit for myself. So in other words, I'm going from the half that's loan, because of the half that's loan, I am working also for his half that's pekadon. Because of the half that's loan, I'm working also for his half of investment. So that means if I would do that for free, it means I'm giving him ribis not of money, but ribis of benefit. You're not allowed to give ribis for somebody if he's any type of ribis, a favor, or you do something for him, or certainly a service that is worth money. I'm not going to do any service that's worth money to do that for him because he lent me money. So, for example, I'm a malamed. So I need to go for chasna. He lends me $20,000 to make chasna to my doing. And now he tells me, listen, I need tutoring for my son. So I tell him, listen, I get, what is a good tutor get an hour? No? Here's a chance. 67, 65, 75. Yeah, $75, a good tutor gets for an hour. Yeah, where do you live? A good tutor gets $75 an hour. That's cheap. So a good tutor gets $75 an hour. You know, so he's coming to me, but he lent me, he says, I need a good tutor to tutor my son. He said, Mitzuyin, I learn with him privately, Chef Schmeitzer, learn with him privately, K'tzaz Achlation, a Maimer, a Samach. I say, fine, but I don't want it for free. So what do you want to charge me? So he just lent me $20,000 for my daughter's chasana, so I'm going to make it cheaper for him to tutor me. So normally, when some other balabas comes to me, I get $75 an hour. But the guy who lent me $20,000, if I make him cheaper, that's his. Because I'm making it cheaper for him, I'm working for him for less than the value of that work, that's his. So the same thing over here is the question, if the side Reuven gives Shimon $10,000 in investment, and the pshat is Kallah, half of the money is a loan, half of the money is an investment. So I'm a money manager. Money managers in Wall Street, they make a percentage of the profits of the hedge fund. Any money manager, he's entitled to a percentage. And here I'm managing the other half of the money for free. So this is the problem for him. So that's what the Gemara says. An iska, well, still Gemara, not after Heter. Iska has to be where the person is going to be paid at least a token payment for the part of managing the money. He has to have a token payment for the part of managing the money. So therefore, in the Heter iska, there's a Heter iska, and all of you have booklets, there's a Heter iska, we'll soon get to the booklet. So the Heter iska has to say that in addition to this deal between them, that it's Kallah and Kallah, and that the profits is generated from the half of the investment, half of their business relationship, but also say that also for managing their business, he's going to get a payment. Now they can agree to any token symbol, but it has to be in the Heter iska that there's going to be a management fee to put aside the issue of doing him a favor because he lent me money. Now, so that is the din of Heter iska, that is the basis for every Heter iska. And there's a clear business relationship in this way of a silent partner where Kallah becomes Kallah milva, half of it is a loan, half of it is invested, there's no problem at all. Ribis, and that's what the problem is that if I'm going to go around in the community, then I need a loan, and then the one who's going to give me $10,000 to do a business deal, so he's saying to me, I don't want to take a risk of 50%. He doesn't want to take a risk. And also, he doesn't want to take a risk for loss. He also doesn't want to take a risk if he would have the money, $10,000, and he would invest it with some kind of investment company, or he himself would do the investment. He makes 10 to 20% on the deal. So I'm ready to give you the money, but I don't want to risk. Maybe you won't make any money. I'm going to give you $10,000 or $100,000 for a year. And at the end of the year, you're going to give me back $100,000. But $100,000, I could have made business deals and buy material or invest in the stock market and make 10%, 20%. So, but I'm going to give it to you. So yes, you're going to invest for me. 50% value, I'm going to have to be invested in you. But you know what? Maybe you're not going to make money. If I'll have money, I'll make more money. I don't want to take risks. So that's why people take loans on interest. Because they know, they're promised, they're guaranteed 10%, 5%, whatever interest is. So I guess, well, how do we do that? So that's where the Heter iska comes into it. The Heter iska is the justification for ribis is, as I said before, half of it is, but the problem arose, people, even as an iska, wouldn't want to lend money because they wanted guaranteed income, and they wanted to be guaranteed that they won't lose money. But if you really keep it guaranteed, no lose money, that's called loan. So the people were stuck. People were not lending money because they needed the money, their parnasa, they needed the money to make money with their money. And they weren't lending money because and they weren't investing, giving purpose, even an iska, because they weren't guaranteed a profit. And they wanted to guarantee the profit. They also didn't want to trust the person with the money who knows. You know, the loss is not such a, the loss may not be, they didn't want to split the loss with anyone. So therefore they came up, Rabbi came up, at the time of the Taz, it brings already this Heter iska. There was the Maram, is a manual. So he came up with this idea of a Heter iska. But this is what we're saying now is based on the Shulman and others brought out the Shulman. Okay, it's an iska. We have an iska. But I want to tighten the screws on this iska. I want to make it halachically, so to say, legally, so to say. Halachically, halachically. Where the one who receives the money is bound stronger to give me almost guarantee me a percentage. It's only almost, because the mamash guarantee me a percentage, that's ridiculous. But if I could corner him in a spot where I'm going to be almost guaranteed a profit, and I'm going to corner him in a spot that I'm going to be almost guaranteed that the loss is going to be on his head, and not on my head, then I'm willing to do the deal. So, well, how did they tighten the screws? So they did two things. Tighten the screws was, so first of all, we want to tighten the screws about the loss. So really, if our relationship is an iska relationship, and someone gave me the money of $10,000, so 50%, 5,000 is a loan, so I have to give it back no matter what happens. 5,000 is his money. So now, what happens if there's a loss of money? He's going to lose 50%. Like before, if there was a loss in his business of $5,000, he's not going to take a loss of $2,500. So how, he wants to move on that. He wants to guarantee, at least quote, to squeeze me that I'll have to give him that $2,500. That 50% that's his investment. How can he squeeze me halachically that I'd have to give him back? So what they did was they put in a t'nai in the Heter iska. Now we're getting to pure Heter iska. They put a t'nai in the Heter iska that in the contract it's saying that listen, that Reuven gave Shimon $10,000, so Shimon has to invest this properly. And he has to invest this properly, and the risk is 50-50, he's right. But Shimon, if Shimon loses the money, Shimon has to have Eidim, kosher Eidim, that can testify that the money was indeed lost. And if he doesn't have kosher Eidim, then he's going to have to pay it. So what do they do over here? They said, what they did over here is, they cornered the recipient of the money. The managing partner is now being cornered that how is he has to obligate himself, he has to bring a very strong proof. He's not going to believe on his words alone that I didn't make money, I lost money. I was robbed with the money. All the money is gone. You gave me $10,000, all the money is gone. So now, since half of it is your money, I only owe you $5,000. So, but now, what do you mean that the money is gone? And you owe me $5,000 only now. But the other $5,000, the part that's become, the part that's your investment, you don't owe me? Why? Yes, it was robbery. I was robbed. Or the investment crashed. So it says, so in Al-Hikra, then he would be part of this. Half is the iska, is a investment. But now, we made a contract that I have to prove, I, the managing partner, the one who's managing the money, have to prove that $5,000 was lost by robbery. Do I have Eidim? I have to have kosher Eidim to bring to Bezdin that these were, they saw the robbery. Now where am I going to find, if there's people around, the robbing thieves are not going to come to rob me. And if the investment took a loss, a crash, so then I have to prove that I invested in this specific slave. And this specific slave that I invested in, there's Eidim that assume invested in this slave, and there's Eidim that know that this slave crashed, and therefore there's a loss. And it's very hard to prove that with Eidim. It could be proven. So there's no guarantee still. It's still iska. There's no guarantee. But it's a Heter iska. Because they made an extra deal to squeeze the managing partner to corner him that it's going to be very hard for him to get out of that 50% loss. That's for the pekadon, for the investment, because they make t'nai. So you're allowed to make t'nai in any business deal. You're allowed to make t'nai. Whether ribis or not ribis, any business deal you can make conditions, and then always people make conditions in every business deal. You know, people have a contract. You don't finish the contract by this and that. So there's a boss on my shoe. There's construction. He's a contractor. If he doesn't finish with this day, every day he has to, there's a knas, he has to give $1,000 a day. That's the contract, you have to do it. So this is what it is. You can make any deal with a contract. So therefore, even though that may be a deal, it's a pekadon, and really the loss, 50% of the loss should be suffered by the silent partner, but they made it tonight and we need Heter. So this basically almost guarantees that he's not going to be able to find sufficient proof to get himself out of this obligation. Now, what about the Rebbe? The Zushe, I've heard him say that as far as the Rebbe is concerned, as far as the Rebbe is concerned, Eidim, you can't put Eidim on the Rebbe. There's a whole lumdus about this. But what they said was, as far as I'm concerned, you can't have Eidim on the Rebbe. It's not such an obligation to give back the Rebbe. There's no promise for Rebbe. It's a weak obligation over here. You can't put the clause that you need witnesses, but first of all, there's a key of shvua. If I'm a partner, if I give you money to invest for me, and you say you lost it, you have to make a shvua. But in the Heter iska, they add that this shvua should be like a shvua satera. That you have to swear on this shvua that you talk on the Sefer Torah, even if it not necessarily is a shvua satera. Could be a shvua satera anyway, but to make a chayr shvua. So I'm lending the money, or I'm giving the money, let's say I'm the silent partner, I'm giving the money to him so that, because I trust him, and I know he's going to Shemayim, and I know that he's certainly going to want to avoid making a shvua. So he could make a shvua. I'm cornering him. I'm cornering him so that he's going to want to avoid the shvua. And I make a deal like this. I say in the Heter iska contract, in the Heter iska contract, it says that that the silent partner can demand that it's 50-50, but the person has to bring witnesses. So now I have if I'm the silent partner, I have the managing partner, the one who's managing the money, I have a claim on him. I say, you say I gave you $10,000, $5,000, and all of it was lost. $5,000, you know how many pays me back at $5,000? Now the $5,000 is my investment. I want you to prove to me you lost it. So I have a tie in him, I have a claim to him. Look at the Heter, the iska. Look at the contract. You owe me $5,000. Yes. Now, if you prove that I was a minus potter, that's my loss, it's my money. But you have to prove it to me. So now you have to prove it. If you don't prove it, you have to give me $5,000 to pay rent. Now, if there's a revach, you have to make a shvua what the revach is. So if there was no revach, you have to swear there was no revach. If there's no profit, you have to swear there's no profit. If there's a profit of 30%, you have to swear that. If there's a profit of 1%, you have to swear that. So now I have a claim. I want you to bring witnesses on the part that's investment and a loss. And if you claim that there was only 5% profit, I want you to swear by the Torah there was only 5% profit. Now the guy is stuck. Now technically you could say, I swear there was only 5% profit. I'm splitting the profit from you. You're getting 2.5%. I swear there was 1% profit. So I'm going to get 0.5%, and you're going to get 0.5%. But he has to swear for that. But then there's a way. I made a deal with him. I said, you know what? If you're going to give me 10%, I will release all my claims. So they put in the Heter iska contract. You have to put in the Heter iska contract. This is a standard Heter iska contract. That the investor, the silent partner, the one who gave me $10,000, he says like this. It's really 50-50. And if there's a loss, I share the loss. And as a profit, I don't take 50% or 1% profit, I don't take 1%. You know what? I have a claim against you, you have to bring witnesses, you have to make a shvua. If you want to be released from all my claims, the contract says, then the borrower or the managing partner could say, I will give you 8.5%. By the end of the year, I'll give you 8.5%. When this deal is done, that I said, I'll give you 8.5%. And if I have, with this 8.5% that I can pay you, all claims of proof or shvuas will be released. And that's why he's going to end up paying him 8.5%. The 8.5% that he's going to pay him is not interest, it's not an interest. Because remember, if Kallah business generated 20%, so the 8.5%, he's giving him 8.5%, because he's entitled to 8.5%. He's entitled to more even. But if there's a loss, if there's no 8.5%, if the business profited 1%, and he's only entitled 50% of that, which is 0.5%, so he could say he's giving the 8.5% to free himself from a shvua. He's not giving the 8.5% as interest for the loan. He got himself into a business relationship which ties him and binds him to be proof for any loss of profit. So therefore, and no matter what, at the end of this relationship, he's going to have to make a shvua. So he's giving 8.5% to free himself from the shvua. The shvua is an obligation. And the one person has a money, it's almost like a money obligation, the one person has the other. So he says, if you give me 8.5% profit of this business deal, I will release any claim I have against you in this relationship. So that is the idea of a Heter iska. Now, Rabbi Blau is, as always, is motioning to me and looking at his watch. So I will try to be a little more brief in the next part. I really didn't know that this is only half an hour. So there's a few issues over here. You have a document of Heter iska in your booklet. I'm not going to read from it. I was planning to. You understand one of the big problems of today's society is that this is only good if someone is getting money for a business purpose. But if I need money to make a wedding, and someone wants 8.5% for a loan, he's going to lend me $20,000 to make a wedding, and he wants to make a Heter iska, and he wants 8.5%. But the whole Heter iska is based on 50% investment, 50% loan. But if I'm going to use it for a wedding, or for any need that personal need that I have, the whole Heter iska doesn't make sense. It's not an iska. It's a loan. There's no investment going to be here. When am I giving him 8.5%? By Heter iska, the deal is that I'm giving him 8.5%, which is his part of the profit in our business relationship. And he's entitled to 8.5%, or even 50% of the profit if you don't fix it some. He's entitled to 50% of the profit because of its improper investment. But that's coming from a businessman who needs a loan. And we wouldn't do it Kallah, you can make a Heter iska. But if I'm a mom who needs a loan for a wedding, and the guy doesn't want to do pure milas chassadah, maybe he can't do it, he needs that money for himself, he needs to generate from something. So therefore, he wants to make a Heter iska, he wants 8.5%. It's not an iska, there's no investment that I can share with him. So here we have a problem, which the Rabbi didn't bring over here. There are some Heterim which is very debatable. Some suggest that, let's say I have an IRA account, or I have an investment account, or a pension, which let's say has stocks. So I have a pension or IRA account that has stocks or even bonds, it has investments. So, and these investments are, you buy and sell it, they make money. So if I will sell them, there is such a concept also that if I will sell you my schreiner, that my pension, my stock, is going to be the iska. So you're lending the money really for a wedding. But there's no Heter iska for a wedding, it's not an iska, it's not a business relationship. So you know what? I have $20,000 in my pension account that's invested. So I'm going to the $20,000 I'm going to put into my investment account. I'm making kinyan of some sorts. You'll see in your booklet, there's some don't even mention the kinyan. So if you are now have $20,000 invested, the money you're giving me is going to be in the investment that I already have that I'm not touching. And those investments is going to be split. The whole iska relationship will be on that. And meanwhile, I would have $20,000 to use in. So this is already not so partial. There is also another one. Now there's two issues over here, which is common. There is Some Heter iska is not the one you have to put in your booklet, but the big problem with Heter iska is people go to a Judaic store and they say, can I buy a Heter iska? So Reuven comes to Shimon, the Chassidish Eden, they need in the mikveh, and he says, I need a loan. So he says, okay, how much you want percent? 8.5%. Okay, let's go to the store, we'll get a Heter iska, I'm going to sign it, and you'll give me 8.5%. This is a joke. And this is the big problem that's going on today with Heter iska. Two balabatim, they don't understand what a Heter iska is. They go into a store, they get a Heter iska. Or I see sometimes some rabbis, they come to them, we want to take a loan. How do we do a Heter iska? So the rabbi is busy, he's going to that winter. Here's the Heter iska form, and you sign it, and that's it. These two balabatim don't understand the Heter iska. All they think, you know what they think the Heter iska is? That it's some kind of a hocus pocus, or some kind of it's a tchina. You know, it's a tchina. You say, you know, if you say these words, then you're allowed to take ribis. So you're allowed to take a loan 8.5% if you sign this paper. So you put in a cartel, you sign the paper, and now you're allowed to take ribis. This is the problem. That's why people come to me to make hackers. I know they're going to be, it's going to take me an hour and a half to explain this. And I want to have Rabbi Blau looking watching this, I'll have to explain it more than I'm explaining over here. And to really get into all the details. And garnish. So really, I think every bezdin should have somebody in charge to make shtaring Heter iska. And the laws are much more complicated. There's Sfarim, there's books in English we have over here, Sfarim in Yiddish, or level, and even in English we put one book. All the details of ribis, the business, every business deal with credit has a shayla of ribis. He's giving you merchandise and you're not paying right away, there's a shayla of ribis. You're paying for merchandise, you're not getting delivery right away, there's a shayla of ribis. No matter what you do, any credit issue in business, there's a shayla of ribis. Some it's multi, some it's us, it's very complex. So the iska business and Heter iska has to become part of a dialogue. Anyone where there is a credit relationship, in any type of business deal, where there is credit of any sort involved. So you have to have, you should have the best, and somebody sitting, I think there could be other people that didn't have that. And he's like a lawyer. He's going to spend you an hour and a half, 2 hours, and you have to pay him for this time. A lawyer, I don't know how much gets a lawyer, $200, $400, $500 an hour lawyers here. And you should have somebody who should sit down to make, if you go to a lawyer to make a contract, you can spend thousands of dollars. There's lawyers who sit down with both parties to make a proper contract. Because you're spending hours and hours, that's really a proper contract. Here we're talking about iska deraisa. 6 lam, the Rambam says. And the Torah was so machmir on this, as people are sitting down, here's the Heter iska, how much you want the store will give you for 50 cents. Heter iska, 2 people sitting down, you fill in name of giver, okay, it's your name, my name. 8, fill in with emphasis, how much percent? 8%. Sign it here. So here is gone. There's a Tzemach Tzedek. There's we have in the book Tzemach Tzedek, where he was asked, it's mamash in the center of the book. You open your booklet in the center, there's a Shal Shuv with Tzemach Tzedek. So he says in there, he was asked if you have to write down the so Reuven comes to Shimon. Shimon needs a loan or Heter iska of $10,000. Shimon says, I need $10,000. Reuven says, okay, here's $10,000. And this is the Heter iska. It's a Heter iska relation. Do they have to have a shtar Heter iska? You don't need a shtar. So the Rebbe says, Tzemach Tzedek says, the ikra did, if it's a real iska relationship, if it's really the deal, a business deal, half to invest and half of the loan, you don't need a Heter iska. But his problem, he says, is, and he says, look at the right column, the last line. It's difficult for me to give a Heter percent that you should make this deal about that, just a verbal agreement. When they're giving this orally, verbally, they don't explain it. The dummy favorite is. It's like ribbons because they're not explaining what it is. Heter iska. They say, okay, Heter iska. What's Heter iska? Are they explaining that this is 50% is a loan and 50% is an investment? Is that discussed? Is that a handshake that it's 50% investment? And the only way out of the investment is through shvua. So therefore, how you get it to 8.7%? You put it in 8.5%. What it doesn't make 8.5%? If it's iska, it's 50% of the profit, not a fixed 8.5%. What are you getting 8.5% fixed? That's ribbis if it's 8.5% fixed. Really, the relationship is that it's 50% of the profit, and if there's no profit, you get zero. So what is this 8.5%? Oh, really, the shvua you owe me, and you have to bring 80. The 8.5% is to get out of the shvua, it's not as ribbis. So look at the, so therefore this has to be explained. Now go down on the left column of the page you still have, or to read it together with you. You see what there's the line starts with the ribbis, and there's a period after that. Masha'en came, ba'alvoah shalom, by our loans, shebe'emes hakol yodim she'emes kam b'klal asim b'shutos. Everybody knows it's not a real partnership. El she's a malva, it's a loiva mamish, it's a lender and a borrower. But it's like the ribbis, and he wants to give ribbis. El she's salak iser, basically ribbis. To remove the iser of ribbis, they agree to an iska, the iska deal of the money. Unehi, this is key. The Tzemach is defending the practice of making the Heter iska. Shemakolok, the Heter iska, zemahani, the salak iska. It does help to remove the iser. So really, once you make the Heter iska, and everyone understands what's going on. So really, it's not ribbis anymore because he's giving that 8.5% to free himself from shvua. So really, if the profit was only 1%, and they have to split 1%, so why Hakan is giving 8% is because he wants to be free from shvua. So that's not ribbis. The main thing over here is you have to understand what you're doing. The same thing for Mechilas Chametz. There are Achronim who compare this to Mechilas Chametz. You know the Alter says about Mechilas Chametz? The the main thing Mechilas Chametz is that the one who's selling the chametz has to mean he has to mean it with the heves. That if a guy is going to show up at his house, he's going to give him the chametz, and he's going to get for the market price, the row, agreed with the guy. So even though you may have to make it, arguably it's the wholesale market, and you pay for it retail, or whatever the market price is, you have to mean it, that when you sign with this chametz, that you're ready to sell the chametz, and it's a sale. When you sign, the raw sells for you the chametz, you can't mean it. If you don't mean it, then you're right, it's chametz shalom pesach. So it's really the kavanah that you take it seriously. So through signing up with the raw, you make him your shleich samchon stak mechir, because you meant it, and the rav meant it, and the guy explaining to the guy understands to understand that he has not a right to do it. The same thing is by Heter iska. You have to understand that this is really a partnership, and profits generated are a partnership. I just want to end with one more point, which I saw in the Tshuva, going through this. There was a Tshuva, they asked the Tzemach Tzedek, somebody Shimon owed Reuven money. So let's say Shimon owed Reuven $10,000. So how did he want to pay? So they made a deal. Shimon says to Reuven, listen, I don't have cash, I can't give you $10,000. But I will give you merchandise for cheap. So merchandise that I usually get for it, $12,000, $15,000, I'll give you to, instead of a loan of $10,000, and we're deal. So he's making the merchandise cheap for him because, to get out of this loan. So there's a whole debate back and forth. The Tzemach Tzedek has a whole tshuva about it. The Tzemach Tzedek ends his tshuva. He said he's trying to defend it. Could he do it? Can't he do it? Yeah, the Tzemach Tzedek is really struggling with this, back and forth, us and not us. And this is the last 8 words of this tshuva. He writes like this. And I think it's a key to how to deal with issues of ribbis. V'shomer nafsha yirchak b'zeh. Someone who wants to guard and be careful for his neshama, he should distance himself from such a deal of taking this to take it for the cheap. V'yifresh iska, and you should avoid an iska. V'yakia lo yisha, and wealth will come his way. So here he's he couldn't make a fast buck with ribis. So the Tzemach Tzedek concludes the shear of tshuva where there's a shayla of ribis. He says, I can find you a Heter, but Shema Nafshe, be careful with this. The Yagia La'esha, Tzemach Tzedek promises you, the Heter promises you, you'll become wealthy if you're careful with halachas that deal with money. Zalchab Kabbalah Satela, B'simcha, B'blimis.
One thing also, Rabbi, we include in the booklet is a sample of a shtar, just if you want to make a sickle of everything that we spoke, go through that English shtar, and you'll see how it's composed and fits in with everything that was discussed.
Since you brought in the shtar, personally, that shtar was a very popular book written by a very popular Rav in Flatbush. Personally, I was going to read the shtar, but it was Russian. I'm not very comfortable with that shtar, because I don't think it really brings her out to a layman, certainly, that this is an iska relationship. It says a business, management partner. But I don't know if people are understanding. You know, there's a Chovevei from the Moshe. He says you have to actually explain that's a partnership. You have to do this whole shit that I said, and then some, to really understand it. Abbreviated words here and there, it's not so clear what the relationship is.
One last thing, which I don't think was mentioned also, because we just included about the Heter iska, is there are stars that go around in other body dinim, and the star, one advantage of the star that you have in the booklet versus other stars, there are stars that have percentages put into them. Now, there isn't the Alter Rebbe, when you read the Alter Rebbe, in Hilchos Ribis, the Pashtus, it comes out that there's not allowed to be a mention of a fixed percent. What you could do is calculate. If I'm giving it to you for 6 months, do all the calculation in your mind. I'm giving it to you for 6 months, and I'm doing calculate percent, so you can say that an anticipated profit is going to be X amount of dollars. But to actually write the percentage, the Pashtus Halash about the Rebbe is very much lahachmir. Although some of the Achareinim want to be medayik about the Rebbe, that you could do it. But either way, Rabbi, the next year is going to start